Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 10, and in this episode I'm going to talk a little bit about the performance and the Garmin unit that I ended up putting on the boat. I couldn't do a rebuild without doing a performance episode, at least showing a little bit about the boat and what it can do. This Garmin unit is the EchoMap UHD 64CV. It came with a transducer. It came with charts, pretty much ready to go. I didn't need to download anything on it, and it has the gauge function, so I could plug the engine into it and get some data from the engine. Okay, I'm gonna run through this real quick. What do you get when you tie this Garmin directly to your Yamaha F70, or probably any Yamaha F motor, assuming? You get your RPM gauge, you get your fuel flow. I don't have the gas gauge hooked up. Alright, so what else you get? Alright, you get your temperature gauge, get your volts. See my volts there? And what else? Alright, we get your PSI. I'm assuming that's your water pressure, which is low. I'm going to give a little bit of guess. Yeah, PSI came up. And that's it. And that actually is a little more cost effective than going out and buying gauges and drilling more holes in the console. I really wanted a clean, kind of stripped down setup. I did not want a bunch of buttons and gauges all over the place on the console, so I opted for this. And the whole thing I think was roughly between $160 and $170. That was for the cables to basically link the engine to the unit. The unit was $599. That was from West Marine. If you're interested in this unit, I would suggest you do some internet searches. I'm sure you could probably get a better deal than that. And what was really nice about this Garmin unit, it came preloaded with all the charts, and it came with a transducer. So there was really nothing I needed to do other than get the cables to plug the engine in. If I had gone out and bought gauges, it would have been a lot more expensive. Basically a 6.5-inch screen. It's not a touch screen. It has some buttons on the side. It's very easy to use, and I'm actually still learning how to use it, but for the most part it's pretty user-friendly. And I'm going to go into, in this video, a little bit more about the cables and how we hooked it up in another segment. But before we get to that, when it came to testing the boat out, the first little trip we took out was with an aluminum 17-inch prop that I had borrowed from a buddy, and the boat did hit 40 miles an hour. We probably could have squeezed a little bit more out of it, but the boat really became squirrely, was chine walking and that kind of thing. So I opted for a 17-inch aluminum Solus. It's basically a 13.5 by 17 Solus aluminum prop. It's just a general purpose prop, and I wanted aluminum because I'm going to be using this boat in shallow water, and Yamaha recommended an aluminum prop. The dealer, we have a really good dealer, Yamaha dealer here in the area, and they do not recommend stainless steel props. They believe that the lower unit on the F70 is kind of a weak point, and they suggested aluminum, so that's what I opted for. I don't want to take a chance with a stainless steel prop hitting a submerged object and possibly destroying the lower unit, so I'm just kind of playing it safe. And you know, I really don't need to go much faster, really. So in this video you're going to see us that's going to be with the aluminum prop, and the boat does just barely touch 40. I think we actually hit 39. That was with 2 adults, like a half a tank of gas, and probably in good conditions, fairly good conditions. But we had a lot of fun. The boat's really fast, and it handles pretty well, and the Tempera seats really make the ride doable. You know, it's very comfortable seats, and you know, it wasn't bad. We were not getting beat up by any stretch, and didn't feel the need for a wedge on the back of the boat. Trimming the engine all the way down, the nose would come down, and we were getting right through it fairly easy. And so yeah, you're gonna see it how we did it. And let's go to this next segment here. I'll talk a little bit about the wiring and what you can do if you have a similar setup, or if you want to, you know, kind of go the route we did. You know, give you kind of a general idea. All right, I'm gonna go over wiring from the engine to the Garmin GPS unit, so that you can get your RPMs, your volts, your fuel flow, trim tilt, all that information to come directly through your Garmin unit or Lowrance unit, whatever you have, as long as it has a gauge function in that electronics combo. So I'm going to show you here real quick. So this little plug right here, this white plug, look for this on your engine, okay, because that is what you need to plug into to get all that data to come across your unit. Now this plug here, this little black plug here, is the Lowrance. It's the Lowrance engine interface. I'm going to show you. That's what the box looks like there. And I guess that's part 120-37. And then you'll need this starter kit, which is the backbone. All right. So I'm going to show that to you now. I kind of have this stuff hooked up because I ran a test with it, and so it's going to look like, it's kind of tight in here. It's going to look like this here. This is your backbone, and that red intersection there is what you're going to need. So basically, how it's going to work is your cable is going to come off of your engine. It's going to come and tie into this backbone, and then you run your line from your backbone to your GPS unit, and that's pretty much it. I think in total it was probably around $170 for the cables, and now I don't have to drill any holes for any gauges. I can just run everything through my GPS unit. It's surprisingly easy, and those are the parts you're going to need for it to work. performance test went really well. The boat's super fast, and with that F70, it easily will hit 40. I actually got almost a 41 on the one test, but it's definitely fast. 40 miles an hour and a 15-foot skiff is plenty fast. It's pretty much what I thought I'd get out of it. And you know, on those higher speeds on that little boat, it can get a little wild. So if you're thinking about a 70, I say go for it. But a 50 or even a 50, 60 horsepower motor on that hull is plenty. And I would definitely suggest a 4-stroke, because on that little boat, you know, vibration, you know, the noise and everything it's like right behind you with a 2-stroke. So if you can swing a 4-stroke, go for a 4-stroke. Any brand, doesn't matter. They're all pretty much the same. They're all good. And you know, I hope that if you watch this series that you got something out of it. I didn't quite get to film everything that we did. It's quite labor intensive. I'm the one doing the filming, the editing, and so on, and it can be very time consuming. So if you did get anything out of this series, please give me a thumbs up. Kind of gives me an idea of you know, where I need to take the channel. Definitely gearing up for offshore fishing here real soon. Going to get right back into fishing, that's for sure. And there may be another whaler project in the future. I do plan on filming some videos on this little boat and having some fun with it. So if you are looking, if you watch this series because you're either doing repairs on your own whaler, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So there, you know, just because we did it a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do it that way. It's more or less just to give you an idea of you know, how you might want to go about making a repair. There's a ton of videos on YouTube on fiberglass repairs and materials and that sort of stuff, and most of them are good. There's a few out there that, you know, are not so great, but you just gotta have to sift through it, come up with a plan, and make those repairs. If you're looking like to buy one of these little boats, prices are crazy right now. I would suggest maybe holding off for a little while and just keep looking. That's half the fun is going and checking these things out, and you know, try to find the driest one you can and go from there. So yeah, if you definitely enjoyed the series, give me a thumbs up, and there's going to be more great content coming.